Hello everyone. In this video we are going to talk about answers to reading quiz chapter 6, and also we will solve some questions from Edfinity assignment. This chapter we talk about marginal utility and consumer choice. So basically we are trying to find out what is the best bundle of the goods that a consumer chooses to maximize his or her utility. So first we can define what is marginal utility. Marginal utility is the change in total utility when you change the quantities. So we want to know, if I consume one more banana, how much I will get utility from this additional banana. So utility concept is used to measure the utilities that we receive from the goods we consume. Therefore, we try to quantify the satisfaction, and we quantify the satisfaction to find out the best optimal bundle of goods for consumers. And let's start to answer these questions, and we will go through the material as we answer the questions. The first one, the goal of the consumer is to maximize total utility or satisfaction derived from their purchase choices, given the unique budget constraint. To calculate total utility of a given combination of t-shirts and movies, one would use which of the following approaches? So the first answer is correct. Use utils as a measure of utility, assigning a specific number to t-shirts and movies, and then we add these together. So for instance, you are going to say for t-shirts for person Ben, first t-shirt brings 20 utils. Second t-shirts, purchasing the second t-shirt, brings 15 utils. As you see, we buy more of the same good, or we consume more of the same good, the utility decreases. You can understand this by the example of drinking water. The first glass of water, if you are thirsty, brings you a lot of satisfaction, but the second glass is not bringing the same satisfaction as the first one. And then we will do the same thing for the other good, and then we sum the utilities and find out the maximum total utility. So therefore, the first answer is correct. Question number 2, what is loss aversion? So loss aversion is actually a part of behavioral economics. So what is the idea? Let's say you have 50% chance of losing 10,000 and 50% chance of winning 10,000. But this losing 10,000 brings you much more bad feelings than earning additional 10,000. So people do everything to avoid the loss because they don't like to lose money. Although the probabilities are the same for winning and gaining, 50%, 50%, people avoid to lose money because they suffer a lot when they lose money compared to the satisfaction they gain from winning the money. Therefore, the right answer is the second option, the tendency to focus more on the loss than the gain. Question 3, explain the idea of mental accounting. So we can use one example from your textbook to understand mental accounting. Let's say you are walking on the street and you find $25 on the street. And also you earn $25 by working 2 hours, let's say, in McDonald's. So people treat this $25 that they find on the street than the $25 they work and earn, although these two amounts are the same. So people has a different way of looking the same amount of dollar, and they treat these dollar amounts differently. So therefore, mental accounting is the notion of putting dollars in different mental categories where they take different values. Question number 4. You were presented with a utility maximizing rule which states if you always choose the item with the greatest marginal utility per dollar spent when your budget is exhausted, the utility maximizing choice should occur where the marginal utility per dollar spent is the same for both goods. So since we have a budget constraint, that means we have a limited income to purchase the bundle of goods, the utility maximizing rule states that marginal utility that you receive from good 1 divided by P1 should be equal to marginal utility you receive from second good divided by the price of the second good. It says that the marginal utility per dollar from t-shirts should be equal to marginal utility per dollar from the movies, then we reach the optimal bundle. So for instance, if marginal utility per dollar from t-shirts is higher than marginal utility per dollar from movie, then the consumer should consume more of t-shirts because marginal utility per dollar from t-shirts is higher than marginal utility per dollar for movies. And reverse is true too. So this states that increase the t-shirt consumption. If this happens, for instance, marginal utility from t-shirt divided the price of t-shirt is less than marginal utility of movies divided by the price of the movies, then the consumer is getting more satisfaction per dollar from the movies. Therefore, the number of movies should be increased in the bundle. We have the maximum utility when these marginal utility per dollars for both or for any number of goods in the bundle are equal to each other. So the right answer is the last option. The marginal utility associated with good 1 divided by the price of good 1 is equal to marginal utility associated with good 2 divided by price of good 2. Question 5. Marginal utility is defined as the increment to total utility that results from the consumption of one more unit of some good or services. Therefore, marginal utility is change in total utility, that delta sign is change, divided by change in quantity. So the right answer is this one, change in total utility divided by change in quantity. Question 6. Kimberly has $1,000 per year to spend between $50 concert tickets and $200 per night getaways. Her utility maximizing combination is 8 concerts and 3 getaways. She recently received a promotion on her job and now she can spend up to $2,000 per year on these 2 items. Her new utility maximizing combination will depend in part on what? So her income doubles, right, from 1,000 to 2,000. But remember, we have 2 types of goods depending on the income. So income is a determinant of demand, and if demand increases while the income increases, we are talking about normal goods. And if demand decreases while income increases, we are talking about inferior goods. So we know that the income doubles, but we don't know whether concerts and getaways are normal goods or inferior. So the degree to which concerts or overnight gateways are normal goods, are inferior goods, important to determine the impact of income change on this consumer's consumption bundle. Therefore, the right answer is the second option. Question 7. Which of the following best describes the income effect? Income effect refers to the situation that when the price of one good increases or decreases, how consumers behave based on the price increase or decrease of the good. For instance, if the price of one of the good in the bundle increases, we know that now the income of the consumer has now less purchasing power. Why? Because one of the good is more expensive compared to the past consumptions. Therefore, the income effect tells us that the price of designer jeans has increased, so the buying power of your income has been reduced. You purchase 2 new pairs of new jeans instead of 3 that year. Question 8. Examine the following diagram. With this information, what kind of curve could you draw? So this is consumers' budget constraint, and we have 2 goods, housing and everything else. When the housing price increases, as you see, the consumption of the housing decreases. So for instance, the housing original price is P0 and the consumption is at M0 at Q0 quantity of housing. When the price of housing increases to P1, then the consumption is M1, therefore the quantity of housing decreases from Q0 to Q1. And it continues like that. So that shows the relation between price and quantity demanded. And this is an inverse relation. When the price increases, quantity demanded decreases. Therefore, we can derive the demand curve out of these changes in budget constraint due to an increase in the price of housing. Question 9. Say that a tax on alcohol leads to a higher price at the liquor store. which of the following is not likely to occur? So if a tax is imposed on alcohol, it is going to probably reduce the purchasing power of income of consumers. Therefore, people are going to feel less wealthy and they are going to reduce their consumption not on alcohol but many other goods. Therefore, the wrong answer is the one that only focuses in supply and demand trends within the liquor industry, because this change is going to affect all the goods the consumers are purchasing in a month or in a period. Question 10. What is the goal of behavioral economics? So behavioral economics introduces psychology to the decision making. Therefore, the right answer is to integrate the insights of psychology into economics to enrich our understanding of decision making. Now, next we are going to move on to Edfinity questions. I'm going to start with question 2. In this question, we are going to learn how to calculate marginal utility. So the table below lists the total utility that UL derives from consuming different amounts of fruits. For example, according to this table, UL has a total utility of 66 utils from consuming 2 baskets of raspberries. What is the marginal utility of consuming the 4th basket of raspberries? So remember the marginal utility formula. Marginal utility is the change in total utility divided by change in quantity. So let's look at the quantity 4, and we want to know the marginal utility of the 4th basket. Before, total utility with 3 baskets altogether, 3 baskets altogether gives us 69 utils, and 4 baskets altogether gives us 70 utils. So by adding an additional basket, the utility increases by 1 util. Therefore, marginal utility is 1 util. Let's look at the second one. What is the marginal utility of consuming a 3rd basket of papayas? 2 baskets altogether gives a total utility of 104. This is the 2 basket case. And 3 baskets, total utility of 3 baskets of papayas is 107. So because of adding this additional basket, total utility increases by 3 utils. Therefore, marginal utility is 3 utils. And next question, at what quantity does UL start to experience the law of diminishing marginal utility for papayas? So we need to find the marginal utility starting from the first quantity. Total utility. So total utility for the first basket is 99. 2 baskets together is 104. Therefore, marginal utility of the second basket is 5. 3 baskets altogether is 107. And the 3rd basket's marginal utility is the change in total utility, which in this case 4. We don't know the first basket's marginal utility because we don't know what is the total utility when the consumer consumes 0 basket of raspberry. And given this situation, we know that here, this is not given. For the second basket, marginal utility is 5, and the 3rd basket, it diminishes. The 3rd basket is not bringing as much as the second additional basket. Therefore, we can say that diminishing marginal utility starts with the 3rd basket. The right answer is here, 3rd basket of papayas. Let's look at another question. Daniel needs to book a flight between Minneapolis and Miami and has a choice between flying in the first class or economy. A first class ticket costs $840, an economy ticket costs $190. The first class ticket generates $990 value of utility, and the economy ticket generates $260 value of utility. So what is the marginal utility per dollar for a first class ticket? So we need marginal utility from the first class divided by price of first class. Marginal utility is 990 divided by 840. In that case, it's equal to 1.1785. And now let's calculate what is the marginal utility per dollar for an economy ticket. we are going to take the marginal utility from economy and divide by price of economy ticket. In this case, it's 260 divided by 190, which is equal to 260 divided by 190 is 1.3684. Will Daniel be better off booking a first class or an economy ticket? It's going to be an economy ticket because the marginal utility per dollar for an economy ticket is higher than the marginal utility per dollar for first class. Therefore, the right answer is economy. So this is the last question that I'm going to solve from this chapter. Let's read the question first. The following table presents information on Louis's and Ariel's marginal utility and price paid for the consumption of oranges and pears, which are the only two goods that they consume. Assume the utility maximizing rule holds. Is Louis maximizing their utility? So let's remember the utility maximizing rule. It should be the case that marginal utility that the person gains from consuming oranges divided by price of oranges is equal to marginal utility gained from pears divided by price of pears. So let's calculate this equality for Louis. Marginal utility from oranges is 13, price is 6, and we want to know whether this is equal to marginal utility from pears is 40 divided by 15. And let's calculate this. 13 divided 6 is 2.166. So 40 divided 15 is 2.66. So therefore, this number is smaller than this number. They're not equal. Louis is not maximizing utility. To maximize utility, Louis consumes more of this good, pears, because it's bringing more satisfaction. And therefore, this bundle is not maximizing the utility for Louis. Now let's do the same calculation for Ariel. We will use the same formula. 14 divided by 6, and we want to know whether this equals to 60 divided by 15. 14 divided by 6 is 2.33, and 60 divided by 15 is equal to 4. The same situation for Ariel as well. Ariel is getting more utility per dollar that he spends on pears. Therefore, in order to maximize the utility, he should consume more pears, and this bundle is not maximizing utility for Ariel. So these are the questions for chapter 6, and I hope this video is helpful. Thank you.